have a DJI Osmo Pocket 3 and everyone keeps telling you to film in D-Log, color grade, use a LUT, and you're like, absolutely not, this video is for you because same. I'm going to show you how I get cinematic footage with my Osmo Pocket 3, all in the normal color profile. And the best part is it looks good while you're filming and not 2 hours later after you've done a whole bunch of editing. And here's the thing, it already takes me 40 days and 40 nights to edit one single video. So I'm not trying to add even more work having to color grade every single video. And on top of that, I want to see what my footage is looking like while I'm filming it. Not a flat and grayscale like preview. Like I need to see it right now. Like I have anxiety already, please. And for the melanin rich babes out there, the Osmo Pocket 3 definitely washes out your skin tone. It's very unfortunate. So today I'm going to give you my base cinematic setup, some quick go-to settings presets that you can use in different environments, as well as how I change certain settings so that the tone looks right in every situation. Okay, first, my basic cinematic settings setup for the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. You've heard this a million times. 4K, 24 frames per second, 1/50 shutter speed. And that is the resolution, the frame rate, and the shutter speed. So 4K is the highest resolution that they have on the Osmo Pocket 3 in horizontal mode, and then 3K is the highest in vertical. Some people even turn their Osmo Pocket 3 sideways so that they can get vertical content in the 4K setting, but 3K is still just as good. These settings you want to lock in first and just keep it there. Unless I'm feeling like in post edit, I'm going to slow the footage down. I pretty much never change these settings. Those settings give you the highest resolution as well as the most natural motion blur and natural motion. Next is the color profile. I shoot in the normal color profile, not in D-Log. Like I said before, I want to see everything as it is right as I'm filming, and it is perfectly fine. Okay, now these next few settings are going to focus on our skin. So inherently, the Osmo Pocket 3, it wants us to look brighter and it wants us to look smoother, almost like a cartoon character. It's not really my vibe. I want to see the textures. I want to see the true color. First off, turn off glamour effects. I don't want the camera to decide on what parts need to be smoothed out or brightened up. Take it all off. Sharpness and noise reduction are in the same image adjustment section on the Osmo Pocket 3 settings. For me, I like to keep my sharpness at -2 and the noise reduction at -1. So for me, I want my skin texture to look as natural as possible. I don't want it to look over processed and over sharpened, and I also don't want it to look overly smooth. Whew. Okay, I hope you're following me so far because now we're going to get into the good stuff. The pro settings we're about to get into now is really what is going to give you that cinematic, beautiful, chef's kiss footage every single time. This is my little cinematic settings survival kit. ISO controls your brightness and your noise. EV controls your exposure. White balance controls your tone. And my favorite is a bonus. It's not really a setting, but ND filters, you need them. Go get them now. Every camera that you ever have, just get an ND filter. I'm using an ND filter right now and I'm indoors. So to explain how I manipulate these things to get the cinematic footage that I want, I'm going to share with you 3 different presets that you can use for the most common environments. The first one is going to be a sunny day, aka an overly bright environment, including the snow. The first thing you want to change is your ISO. You want to keep your ISO as low as possible. The Osmo Pocket 3 has some good ranges for your ISO that you can lock in. Beautiful and so convenient. So for bright and sunny environments, I like to keep my ISO at a range between 50 and 800 or 50 to 1600. So brighter conditions, you want to lower your ISO. If you're going to be in a dynamic situation where you're moving in and out of a darker spot, like if you're walking down the street vlogging, you want to keep your ISO in a range. Now for my EV, I like to keep it at a -0.3. Once in a while, it has called for me to go to a -1.0 EV. I've never gone past that. Now, this EV setting is my favorite when it comes to fine tuning what my skin is looking like, because it preserves your highlights and brings back your color and gives you contrast so that you're not overly exposed and just overly washed out. For white balance, I keep it on manual and I lock in my number. The white balance is going to either make you look warmer or cooler. The higher the Kelvin, the more yellow. If you want it to look cooler and more blue tone, then you'll turn your white balance down. I like for my footage to look a little more warm, especially because I'm brown. I honestly don't even go below 5500 Kelvin. And then the last thing would be an ND filter. I love ND filters. They really save you so much freaking time. And it's sad that I just started learning about ND filters in October after a whole year of vlogging. ND filters are amazing because they fine tune your brightness and your exposure, just fine tune the image, period. The analogy is that ND filters are like the sunglasses to your camera. You can get all of your settings right in camera and it'll still need a little tiny tweak, keeping all of your settings in place without you having to change them. If you're using an ND filter, always get a variable one because you can just turn the dial to fine tune that image. Very convenient, especially if you're on the go. So that was my sunny day preset. So now let's get into my indoor settings. And this is really for people who vlog indoors. In the beginning, I only filmed indoors because I was too shy to even raise my hand to film myself. Like my ISO a little bit higher. Indoors, like in a museum or in my apartment, tends to be a little more dark. So I want to bump up the range of the ISO a little bit. So just do 50 to 1600. The highest I'll go is 50 to 3200. My EV does not change. Now, white balance. I love my skin tone to look warmer and the footage in general to look a little bit warmer. Indoors, you have to be kind of careful because a lot of indoor lighting tends to already be warmer and more yellow. So I will turn down my white balance to like the 4000 range. My last settings preset I'll share with you, I call this my NYC night mode. You know, I work in Times Square, so there's a lot of lights, but it's also dark out. Also, it's winter over here. The sun goes down at like 4:30. This is gonna go for all night environments. I like to keep my ISO at a set rate and not a range, and it's usually at 800. Sometimes I may go to 1600 and set it there. When you're like in Times Square or you have a lot of spotlights, I want to capture the spotlights, like the billboards and things like that, without it looking overexposed and just blown out. So I like to keep the ISO set and not a range because I don't want it to change. EV, my default, like I said, is -0.3. White balance, I use a similar technique as indoor, and I like to turn the white balance a little bit lower. I try to stick at the regular 5000 so that there is a tinge of yellow. Whew. I know that was probably a lot, but I wanted to be as thorough as possible without being too like techie. This is just what I've learned and what has worked for me, and I've been getting pretty beautiful footage, if I do say so myself. So I just wanted to share that. I'm done. I hope this helped you in any way. All the girlies that just got their Osmo Pocket 3 over the holidays, shout out to you. And for the people who are still learning their Osmo Pocket 3, I hope you get more comfortable with your camera, because I've seen a little bit of slander on these streets about the Osmo Pocket 3. People returning it, and it's like, girl, just take a little time. You can't just give everything up that easily. I got my Osmo Pocket 3 back in April, and I'm still learning to this day. There's so much in this little thing, okay? Don't give up on her. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you being here. I hope this was helpful in any way, and if it is, please let me know. Shout out to everybody. I had fun.